You will never be a man. You will never be a man. Said to a cisgender man. They stress about how I dress. It's one of those subreddits, isn't it? It's gonna be one of those days. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be taking a look at a relatively new subreddit called r/TheyCanAlwaysTell. It's like r/AccidentalAlly, but it's directly the posts where they accuse someone of being trans, but they are accusing cis people of being trans is primarily the thing, and occasionally calling trans people cis, or, you know, mixing up what, like, gender they think a trans person is, that kind of thing. It's a subreddit dedicated solely to that, and solely to the fact that the We Can Always Tell crew can't always tell, and they regularly make up a bunch of crap that just doesn't make any sense, and we're gonna take a look at that today. Now, I've got two things to mention very quickly before we begin. First of all, as always, I'll be live on Twitch on Thursday at 7 PM UK time, so go check that out. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm not wearing any makeup, war paint, my colored lights and stuff aren't on today because we have a guest today, and I didn't want to stress her out with lights because we haven't even had her for a week yet, and she is perfectly in the way at all times, so trying to do my war paint is not going to be very easy until she's settled a bit more, because she loves being on counters, she loves playing with absolutely anything you're holding, she likes knocking things off of tables, she is so funny, she's so cute. So yeah, while she's adjusting this week, all of the things that might stress her out are off. We got her on Monday, I'm recording this on Friday, so we've had her like 5 days. In fact, let me introduce the baby, shall we? So this little lady is Artemis. She's precious, she's a little baby, and she's a funny little guy. Had a few issues as a kitten, health-wise. She had some sinus issues and she had an eye infection, so her immune system's a little bit weak. She has a bit of a sinus problem, and her eye needs eye drops and cleaning every now and then because she gets a little bit gunky, but she's our baby and we love her. She loves being upside down and she loves belly scritches, and those are two things. Oh, and she loves just being manhandled, and those are things that I have never seen in a cat before. I've never had a cat that likes belly scritches. I've never had a cat that likes being manhandled. So she's precious, and she's gonna fall asleep in my arms now, so I'm gonna have to do the rest of this video one-handed, and also probably try and be a bit less loud so I don't disturb her as much. Hi. So anyway, this is the new addition to the family, little baby Artemis. Little baby Artemis. She likes making biscuits in my beard as well. She really likes my beard, actually. Oh, should we bring you up higher so the camera can see you better? Yeah. Right, anyway, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Henry Cavill's girly eye shows Henry Cavill not a guy. No matter how much work they get done, they can't change the energy coming out of the eyes, the windows to the soul. I'll post more pics in the comments. This one baffles me for a multitude of reasons, but just Henry Cavill, really manly, like a really manly dude, but we also have a lot of photos of him when he was younger, and, you know, a dude, like, he's a cisgender man. Transvestigators are just so weird. I only just realized this was even posted in a transvestigation page, like, they're actually calling themselves that, but what are you doing? Just, no. Also, eyes, like, can look a lot of way. He's got blue eyes. That's it. Is everyone with blue eyes a woman? Am I a woman? I got gray eyes. But the point stands, like, he's just got blue eyes. And also, the, like, picture they've chosen is a professional photograph, you know, taken by a professional photographer. They touch up photos. It's very clear that the contrast and the saturation and the vibrancy has been increased. You're gonna go on my lap, are you? Like, the picture's been doctored. Not, I guess doctors isn't the right word, but they're touched up because it's a picture of a celebrity. Where are you going? You're gonna get caught on my headphone. There you go. Like, he isn't a woman. Oh, she's still a little bit unsure about Koshek, by the way. Back up on the sofa you go. Okay. She hasn't quite figured out Koshek. She's like, that's a weird creature. Never seen a lizard before. What are those? She's off. You off? Bye then. Olympic judo legend Kayla Harrison in her UFC 300 post-fight victory portraits, setting her sights on the UFC bantamweight title currently held by Raquel Pennington. The multiple-time former PFL champion is on a mission to cement her legacy in MMA. And then, naturally, that's Jeff a dude. Are we seriously not recognizing that this is a man? And she's not. That's a cisgender woman. Just saying, that's just a cisgender woman. Like, transvestigators are immediately thrown off the second a woman puts on any amount of muscle. Bear in mind, this woman is an MMA champion. Like, of course she's gonna be built like an MMA fighter. That's her career. Number 1 female basketball player in the world is earning 12 million less than her male counterpart. Caitlin Clark is a man. No, again, just look, I went to the comments for this one because a couple people in the comments put it better than I probably can. So to start with, Maldy Testicle, which is just a great name, said, they need her to be a trans woman because if a cis woman can physically outcompete a trans woman, then their entire sports argument makes no sense. Which is a really good way of putting that. If the top athlete in a field is cisgender, then them complaining that trans women in sports is unfair doesn't make sense. Which is then replied to by, might I introduce you to Leah Thomas and her 8th place, 5th place tie, and other such overly better than any cis woman competition during the 2020 NCAA championships. These facts don't sway transphobes though, because Leah got first in one swim. Ugh, clearly she's better than every cis woman because of testosterone, if you don't count the swims where she did not do so well. And yeah, they completely focus on the fact that, a trans woman won one competition, it's unfair. Like, what about all of the competitions won by cis women and all of the competitions where trans women didn't win? I guess they don't count anymore. And you know, in the same vein as earlier, if you think these are athletic females, congratulations, you've been successfully brainwashed. Check out these so-called CrossFit females. My eyes are hurting. They are. They're buff women. They're CrossFit experts. That's their job. I don't understand how we need to spell out to transvestigators that if a woman's career is athleticism, she will be athletically built. I just don't get how it is that we need to point that out. It's not a hard concept to grasp. We've had this one in a previous video. The transgender is like 6 feet tall and completely towers over the normal woman. What the f has MMA become? No one tell them. And yeah, right. So I'm gonna say it, but to be honest, I doubt any transvestigators watch my videos anyway. And if they do, they haven't made it this far. The trans person's on the right and is shorter than the cis woman. So good job. We can always tell. The crowd that can always tell. We can always tell, right? But also they're like so exaggerating and overblowing this, like that person completely towers over them. And like in a fight, generally height advantage is an advantage because you have a longer reach more than anything else. That's why they're usually categorized by weight, because taller people tend to weigh more than shorter people, right? A very common thing is to try and get your weight like just on the border as high as you can get it, and then like dehydrate yourself and like starve yourself right before weigh day so that you are under the weight category and get into that category, because it gives you an edge above people that are in the lower end of that weight category. But like they're going, she towers over the other person. She's like a couple inches taller at best, right? Like we're looking at the same image, right? Like the woman on the right comes up to her forehead. She's not like a head taller. I tower over Leo, my partner. I'm nearly a full head taller than him. This is not towering over. This is a couple inches at most. This is like that's the difference we're talking about here. And now we're going to get into some of the wild ones. We've already seen, you know, celebrities being transvestigated, but Dan TDM, more like Danielle TDM. This is clearly a woman. You can even tell by the jawline. And what man gets hair and piercings like that? I'm guessing that was a slur. Transphobes have gotta be some of the stupidest people on the planet. They saw blue hair and were just like, yeah, he's trans. Men dye their hair. I dyed my hair before I came out as non-binary. Dyeing hair isn't weird. Men get piercings. We can always tell, right? Which is why we think that cis people are trans, because we can always tell. It's just, they're so reaching. They need people to be trans. But what I don't get is like, what the difference would it make? If Dan TDM was trans, it wouldn't make a difference. And also, by like conservative logic, surely if Dan TDM was trans, he's doing it how they want him to, because he's not telling people he's trans. He's not trying to educate people on being trans. He's just existing and not rubbing that in their faces, which is exactly what they always complain about, but they don't actually care about that. It shows the hypocrisy in their views, because assuming that Dan was trans, they're still complaining about it. So you can't win. This one's my favorite one. Just predators coming to a ladies' toilet near you and or as a teacher in a school. You think this woman is a predator? It's a man! That's JK Rowling. I mean, granted, it is, you know, it's a heavily filtered image, but it's you can tell. Also, predators aren't coming to ladies' toilets. I've talked about this a lot in videos, but like, if someone is going to commit a crime, you know, like assaulting someone in a toilet, peeping on someone in a toilet, they're not going to go through the path of becoming a trans woman. They're not going to socially transition, you know, go on hormones, potentially have surgery, all of those things to assault someone in a toilet, because it's still a crime. Because it doesn't matter if you're trans or not. If you assault someone in a toilet, it's a crime, and you'll still be arrested and sent to jail for it, regardless of whether you're trans or not. So like, transitioning to still go to jail for committing the same crime doesn't make any sense. But we can also prevent anyone from assaulting anyone in a toilet by having toilets that aren't shit. Problem solved. Defo tell you're a bloke in this pic. What about this one? Jawline wrong, eyes look weird, still a male bit more of a John Bon Jovi look. Again, this is a cis woman. I'm loving cis people trolling transvestigators. We're gonna get into a lot of those now, especially celebrities. Yeah, so she's an actress and she's trolling them. She's cis, and again, transvestigators will happily just make up like reasons why someone is trans. Like, she's egging them on here by being like, oh, you can't tell that I'm a trans woman. So they make up reasons why she has to be trans, even though she's cis, because, right, crazy, I know, transvestigation, it's all bullshit. Jawlines, eyes, noses, face shape, all of that stuff doesn't really matter what sex you were born as. Those things can change for anyone. Everybody has slightly different faces. Transvestigation is moronic. So yeah, then we have, this is my trans mask brother, and transphobes think he's a girl. Too bad for them, because he will always be a man. And it's a picture of Markiplier, and someone said, chromosomes and DNA don't lie. You and it/he/she loses, loser. The like commitment to not only being a transphobe, like they try and dehumanize the trans person by saying it to begin with, but then they say he/she because they don't actually know. They can't figure it out because they don't always know. But also, it's a picture of Markiplier, a cis man, but transvestigators will still reach because it's all they've got going for them is reaching. And in the same vein, dear transphobes, this is my proud trans brother. Does he look like a girl to you all? And it's a picture of Schlatt. And someone said, no Adam's apple, obviously a girl. You and your sister are, and I'm guessing it's a slur. That's Schlatt, that's a cis man. Again, reaching. Adam's apple, right? I'm gonna drop a truth bomb on you right here. Adam's apple are not gender exclusive. I mean, it's more common for like AMABs to have them, but AMABs don't all have them, and AFABs sometimes do. And you know how I can prove that Adam's apples happen in women and are surprisingly common? Because if you Google Adam's apple women, one of the top results on Google Images that comes up for multiple websites is Adam's apple reduction surgeries, because women's cosmetics and cosmetic surgery is so predatory and is harmed and perpetuated by transvestitation transvestigators, as seen right here, because they will really capitalize on insecurities in women, okay? Adam's apples being one of them that transvestigators are perpetuating and making worse. It's so predatory and harmful to women that they will get surgery to reduce their Adam's apples. How fucked is that? Transvestigators don't achieve what they think they're achieving anyway in regards to catching trans people, but they only go on to further harm cis people. Transvestigators harm everybody. Women can have Adam's apples, and women out there, if you have an Adam's apple, that's fine. You look fine. I promise you, the Adam's apple does not make you look weird. It's not weird that you have one, and you shouldn't be self-conscious about it. 99% of people aren't even gonna notice. It's transvestigators who are freaky little weirdos who spend all day thinking about trans people. They're the only people that are gonna notice. Genuinely, don't feed this toxic predatory industry that is women's cosmetics, and for the love of God, don't get Adam's apple reduction surgery. There's no reason to. Anyway, once again, this is my trans mask brother, and transphobes think he's a girl. Too bad for them, because he will always be a man. No, he is not. That is clearly a woman. Tell your sister that she has been brainwashed by the American school system / liberal propaganda instead of supporting her obvious fantasies. What about him is clearly a woman? Because, spoiler, that's a cis man. So the whole like, oh, it's clearly a woman. We can always tell when a trans person is trans. You can't even identify cis people, let alone trans people. Transvestigation is fucking dumb. It's dumb. They don't know. They can never tell. They can always tell, but they can never tell. The only times they're able to actually identify trans celebrities is when those trans celebrities are simply publicly trans. And when Googling that celebrity, you find out they're trans. If those people didn't come out and say they were trans, it would never be known. The transvestigators would never find out. They would just keep throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. But that's just a theory. And the final post. I don't know, that's just kind of how athletes look. Very male build. Maybe this individual should compete with the males. That's Katie Ledecky, a cisgender woman. Again, we can always tell. Immediately thrown off by any woman having any amount of muscle. She's an athlete. She has muscle. It's her job. Crazy thought. Who could have seen that coming? Athletic people are athletically built. Whoa. Color me surprised. My mind is blown. I will never recover from this moment. Oh God. It's stupid, isn't it? It's just stupid. I really hope this subreddit takes off. I hope more people go here. I hope more of transvestigation bullshit is called out for being exactly what it is. Bullshit. And that's where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. A huge, massive special thank you to all of the YouTube members and patrons that do support me. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. I wanted to get Artemis to say goodbye. Oh, she's there. When did you come back? So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. As always, I will see you in the next one. Peace out, and goodbye from Artemis. Say goodbye. Bye-bye.